I'm coming to you with a debt update. I haven't done one in several months, not since probably the springtime of 2018, just because some things got really kind of crazy after that. Basically, what I want to tell you is that 2018 had a lot of unexpected things in it, and somehow I still managed to come out of that pretty successful in my debt-free journey. Not as successful as I had hoped I would be at the beginning of 2018, but overall still a lot of progress on the debt that I have left to pay off. So we'll just jump right into it. So January through April of 2018 was pretty comfortable. Like, not really too many unexpected things. I think that I did have to buy 2 new tires for my car in that time, because I do remember that at some point last year I had a flat tire, and that turned into needing to buy a new one to replace it. So I bought 2. So there was that. That was about the only thing I think that happened. And the nice thing is that when you are in your debt-free journey and you're learning how much extra money you have per month, you can cash flow those kinds of things when they happen. So we'll talk a little bit about that in just a second. April through July was the unexpected part. At the end of March, we decided that we were not staying in our current teaching positions that we had then. So we did start searching for jobs, and we knew that we would have to move in that time as well. So we knew that having moving expenses was going to be a lot. So in April, I paused what I was paying on my debt, and I stuck all of that money off to the side so that I could pay cash for the moving expenses, for my part of the moving expenses. We didn't know where we were moving to yet then. I do want to mention too, when I say that I cash flowed everything and I didn't pay that extra on my debt, I did still pay the minimum payment on that. So I didn't miss any payments in 2018. I made the minimum payment, which is down to like $100 now. It used to be over $200. So I would make the minimum payment of $100 and whatever dollars, and then set the remaining $800 or whatever that I would normally pay a month off to the side. In May, we found out that we were moving to Florida. So it was a big move. So when we found out we were moving to Florida, again, I still kept holding off on paying any of the debt, and I was just setting all of that extra money aside so that when it came time to get a moving truck and all of those things, it was gonna be nice and easy. So we moved in June and paid the moving truck in cash. We paid for all of the moving supplies in cash. Like, I mean, we had to pack everything up pretty well since it was a 9-hour trip. So boxes and bubble wrap and plastic and tape and everything we paid cash for. We did not add to our debt in any of the moving. We also had to put down a new deposit on an apartment. We did get our old deposit back from the previous place, but we still had to put down a deposit on a new place, and had the moving end costs of that as well. And so June and July were expensive months. Not just that, but you're moving to a new place and you're also finding that maybe you need some new things that you didn't need for your old apartment. So there was that. So very expensive. In that time too, between April and July, my car was making a funny sound. It ended up that the water pump was going out on it. So I had to get the water pump replaced along with spark plugs replaced. And there was a belt or something I think we replaced too. So yeah, it was like $800 on my car between April and July as well. So tons of money that we just had to kind of throw out there during that time. But again, the nice thing is you were just sticking that money that you would pay towards your debt off to the side, and you're cash flowing those things when they come up. So I didn't actually dip into my emergency fund at all. If you know the Dave Ramsey baby steps, you know baby step number 1 is save $1,000. So I kept that $1,000 off to the side, and I didn't have to touch it. So I still had the emergency fund, even though I was cash flowing those other things. August, school started. That is when things started to smooth out and things were getting into more of a routine, and craziness wasn't happening as much. I did have to buy some new clothes for work though. With all the fitness stuff I'm doing, I am growing in muscle. And so some of my pants and stuff that I've had for a while, my quads are getting too big for, so I'm having to like step up in sizes. So there's new clothes that had to happen. I should also mention that at the end of August, I got my last paycheck from the previous county. So I did take that, since it was like a doubled up month where I got paid from 2 different places. I did take that and I paid all of that towards my debt. So I put all of the money I got paid from my previous county towards my debt. So that was a big chunk that I kind of got to make up for a few of those missed months when I was cash flowing. So that was really nice. September, October, those were okay. They were smooth, although we were still figuring out like exactly what a paycheck would look like from our new county, as well as we were figuring out like our supplements in there that we get paid for teaching our subject and all of those things. So it was kind of figuring out months. November through December, we started our professional development season. So we presented at a conference in Dallas in November. So in November, we had to fly to Dallas. So even though the school does cover some of the expenses, there are some expenses that we have to cover on our own. So that does add some costs there. And then December, we had a conference in Chicago that we attended. Same thing for that one. Even though our boosters are covering most of the costs, there are still some things that we have to cover as we go through those. And then in December, of course, we had Christmas. So Christmas came around and it was about 2 weeks before. We had our conference the week before Christmas. So 2 weeks before, I'm going, oh gosh, I have to buy Christmas gifts. Which I had just been so busy I hadn't thought about until that point. So I took, again, the money that I would have paid towards my debt, and I just bought everybody's money, again, with cash. I didn't put it on credit cards or anything like that. So I did cover everybody that way, and that worked really well. So even though 2018 was, well, the last half of the year was kind of crazy, I still ended up paying off $9,794 in 2018. When I pulled that number up and saw it, I was honestly shocked because I felt like I hadn't made a dent in it in that whole year, or at least it's not as much of one as I had hoped I would. So I think still paying off almost $10,000 from your debt in a year is still fantastic. That made me feel a lot better when I saw that number than I thought. That means that my balance right now is $8,198. So that is all I have left, and I will be debt-free by the end of 2019. So anyway, with that, 2018 taught me a lot of great lessons in finance and life in general. And I'm excited about where it brought me to. I am also excited about moving along in 2019 and finishing this and not ever having debt again. So there's that. Next video, my plan for 2019 and being debt-free. So if you are interested in being debt-free, or you want some help, you want the spreadsheets I use, like, I'm not a genius in this, I've stolen all of this from everybody else, but I do like to share it because I feel like people out there feel stuck in their debt like I did, and feel like there's not really anything they can do about it. So anyway, if you need some help, or you want me to give you some of the resources that I've found, I can absolutely share those. Just reach out to me. See you next week.